So, plant section breeding 101. I don't want to get too into this. I'm a farmer. I'm not a scientist, and we could go into this all day. So, almost all vegetables are propagated sexually. That means that male flower parts put out pollen, which impregnate female flower parts, which in turn produce fruit or seed. Some vegetables are self-pollinated, or some are cross-pollinated by other plants. Pollen is transmitted by bees, wasps, flies, and moths, wind, animals, gravity, or humans. So all plants, this is kind of the very most simple way of kind of looking at how plant breeding happens. It's really not that complicated, but every single plant or family or variety has its own needs. So the seed savers go to great lengths to make sure that they can maintain the genetic integrity of their plant by following certain guidelines. So hybrid vigor versus open pollination. So all the plants on the tables outside are open pollinated, as opposed to hybrid. Hybridized plants are taken when two varieties of plants are cross-pollinated to create a new variety with the best characteristics of its parents. So when you take two different varieties and crossbreed them, you often get hybrid vigor. So that first year you get a boost. So you might have an extra large fruit or a super healthy plant. But that plant cannot be then bred the second year to get a new variety, or to get a new batch of seed, because it has been infused with a different set of genetics. So they are the most common types of seed available. So a lot of the seed catalogs carry hybrids. Open pollinated seeds are becoming less used because often the hybrid vigor is used in commercial agriculture systems, and they're often expensive and complex to produce. Whereas open pollinated varieties will grow true to seed and empowers the grower to save seed, because it's a seed that you can in turn save off the plant that you've grown. It's the method of traditional seed saving. So when we looked at the ancient agriculture systems, that's how people saved seed for thousands of years, using open pollinated varieties. And it's the method that has given us our present day seed diversity. So saving seeds in your own garden. Each vegetable has specific requirements to successfully save seed, and each seed grower should know the required isolation distance, the minimum number of plants, the pollination techniques, desirable characteristics they're looking for, and seed cleaning procedures. Seed saving utilizes basic time-honored techniques, and every gardener can become a seed saver by doing a little homework and doing a bit of planning. So it's not rocket science, but it just takes a bit of forethought and planning to save seed. There's some great resources out there. My favorite is Seed to Seed by Suzanne Ashworth. I noticed there's some other good books on the tables outside, but each family has its own requirements, and once you kind of get the basics of it, you can figure out what will work in your garden and your growing system. What's that? So we talk about ancient history, but I just wanted to briefly address the history of North America. Much of Canadian history, seed saving was a necessity for survival each year. People had to save their seeds if they wanted to grow their garden. And because we're a nation of immigrants, there's a rich history of crop diversity. The seeds that immigrants brought from home were an important part of their heritage. So you hear stories about, great-grandma bringing over, tomato seeds or kohlrabi seeds in her coat on the ship from Lithuania or wherever our ancestors came from. And those will continue to be kept and saved. A lot of the Asian communities on the coast have their own varieties that they're growing and saving that came from their communities back east. Seed saving was an important local practice, and seed swaps and exchanges were very common in rural communities all across Canada. So what we're doing here today at the mall is carrying on an ancient tradition, and it's pretty exciting to be part of that. How am I doing on time?
20.
Okay, I got 22 to go. So I just wanted to share a couple of examples of old seed catalogs. These are just blow my mind, the color and the intention and the energy that went into these catalogs. And just kind of imagine someone 100 years ago sitting at their coffee table looking through seed catalogs, just like many of us do every spring. So heirloom seeds and open pollinated seed varieties are becoming endangered. In the last century, as our culture has become more urban and our agriculture has become highly centralized, seed saving has lost its cultural prominence and has essentially become a lost art. So right now we're experiencing a renaissance in seed saving, because fewer people have continued to save the tradition of seed saving. It's become more important for those of us who are seed savers to work hard to preserve our traditions of seed saving. We've lost unknown thousands of varieties that can never be found again. I mean, the breeding potential is there. We can always create new diversity, but the loss of diversity threatens our very lives in agriculture. A large part of the problem is that transnational corporations like Monsanto, Syngenta, and Cargill control a huge percentage of the world's seed supply, and that's not an accident. They want to control the seed supply because it's a big business. Increased technology and genetic modification are a flawed approach. So these corporations think oftentimes that increased technology like genetic modification are going to save agriculture. And this is a very touchy area. I mean, there's a lot of opinions on there, but my opinion is that genetic modification is a flawed approach that will create more problems in the long term. Seeds are a global issue with local solutions. Centralization of the seed industry by large corporations is a direct attempt by big business to control world seed supply. And these seed products that they're selling often have disastrous consequences for farmers across the world, especially in the global south, because GMO seeds disempower farmers from saving their own seeds and contaminate our open pollinated seeds with GMO genes. So there are a couple of leaders. A Canadian leader, speaker is Percy Schmeiser. He fought a battle against Monsanto, and the international leader is Vandana Shiva. She's done a lot of amazing work in India helping people preserve their seed varieties. So a couple things that we can do is support local seed savers and to help preserve our food biodiversity in Canada. And a way we can help our own health is to say no to GMO seeds and products. So now I want to go over some of our local resources here in BC and talk about some of the seed savers. Patrick Steiner and Colleen O'Brien have stellar seeds. They're kind of some local heroes over in the Shuswap. They recently deserted and moved to the Kootenays. But they have some great seeds that they save and sell. They partner with a farmer in Sorrento named Sue Moore, who also grows seed for them. I think they were here last year, and I think they hope to be here again next year. They have a great website, stellarseeds.com, which I highly recommend. Sunshine Farm in Kelowna. Russ Alcock, Russ and Sharon, his family, sell at the Kelowna Farmers Market. And they also have a nice website at sunshinefarm.net. They have a really great variety. They specialize in heritage tomatoes. They have a really wide diversity of tomatoes for those tomato lovers. Salt Springs Seeds, Dan Jason out on the coast has done some amazing work over the years. He's internationally known, and one thing that's really inspiring about Salt Springs Seeds is all the partnerships that he has. On his website he lists about 10 different farms that he works with that grow seed for him. So by supporting someone like Salt Springs Seeds is also supporting all these other small farms and seed savers throughout the province. Full Circle Seeds offers a great variety and selection out of Sioux. I would also recommend them. So West Coast Seeds is an example. They're not a family-owned seed company. They're a bit bigger. They're a company that specializes in untreated, non-GMO, open-pollinated, and hybrid seeds. They do support local growers, but they're a bit bigger in scale. So I just kind of wanted to show you some of the variety that's out there. Cottage Gardener Seed in Ontario. There's someone whom I've bought seed from in the past. It's best to support local seed growers, but sometimes you want a specific variety that no one locally is growing. So to seek a grower in Ontario and support their work is also a good thing to do. And if you're really looking for something rare that you can't find, Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds is one of my favorites. Sometimes there's a tomato variety I love to grow, an orange tomato that can't find anywhere except from them. So until I start saving it or someone else locally starts saving it, I can go to Baker Creek and order seeds from the States. They're based in Missouri, and they're also a family-owned business that's gotten very big. as they got on board right when seed saving and sustainable gardening really has grown. So their business has grown along with it.